meat and potatoes. No pun intended. In this episode, I want to talk about my vegan journey, y'all. You see, I got my fat vegan shirt on today. I had to represent. I wore this to work and everything, baby. I had to represent today. So this right here for all my fat vegans and all my fellow plant-based people out there. I just wanted to share my vegan journey with y'all because I feel like for me it was really special, man. And man, people ask me all the time, like, how long you been vegan? At this point of me making this video, I've been vegan for about 10 years and going. And do I see myself ever going back? I don't. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I even want to. Even if I wanted to, I don't think I can. And truth be told, I think me being vegan might have saved my life because I was eating crazy, y'all. And high blood pressure, diabetes running my family like bad. I've had family members who had to get limbs amputated because of diabetes. And I was a big boy. I was over 300 pounds. At my biggest, I was 318 pounds. Just to show you progressively how big I was throughout most of my life. When I was in the fifth grade, I was 250 pounds. I was always a big boy. I remember in elementary school, I was the second fattest kid in the whole entire school. It was me and Levante Gas. And shout out to you, Levante, because Levante lost a lot of weight, brother. You lost a lot of weight. I don't know where you at right now in your life. I haven't seen you in a long time, brother, but I hope all is well. But me and him were the biggest kids in school, in our school at Thunderbolt Elementary. And people used to tease me and make fun of me and all that kind of good stuff. So that's another episode, another story for another time, because I get into all that too. But I'm just saying all that to say I was big for most of my life. So I think that if I hadn't gone vegan, there's no telling how I would be at this point. I just imagine I'd be really sick. I'd be really sick. But again, it goes all to God just speaking to me through my heart and me just listening. I, you know, I was a big guy, 318 pounds, my biggest, and I was going through my first spiritual awakening. And I say first because you go through multiple ones as you reach new levels and new depths of yourself and new depths of spirituality. I was going through my first spiritual awakening. I mentioned it before. So now I'm about to dive into how this affected me with my veganism. So in this, I started feeling things different. I was like being led to new information that changed the way I thought about things. And one of the people that really changed my life and my mindset when it came to the food I ate was Dr. Sabi. And for those who aren't familiar with Dr. Sabi, he was a herbalist who cured people of diseases that are deemed uncurable. He was promoting that he was curing all these diseases in a newspaper, and he was sued because of it. So what he had to do was bring proof that he cured people of cancer and AIDS and all these other stuff. And I think that they asked him to bring three people for each disease that he claimed that he cured and show proof of a testing before treatment and after treatment to show that he actually indeed cured them. I think they asked three people for all the different diseases. I think like 70 something people came out in support of him that said he did in fact cure me from my disease. So he had an overwhelming amount of support and love. Dr. Sabi, look him up if you're not familiar with him. That case is real. It's been well documented in the newspapers. So this is real what I'm talking about. It's not made up. This guy actually been curing people. And one of his lectures that changed my life was his lecture Eat to Live. And he talked about how we were trained and conditioned to think a certain way about food, and we were trained and conditioned to eat a certain way. He would say that lions don't eat the food of the gorilla and the gorilla don't eat the food of the lion, so why are we eating all this bullshit? And that really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? And just hearing him break down the different foods and from even scientifically the molecular structure of certain foods, of like how some things are starch based and grain based, and you know what I'm saying. It just really opened my mind to like the way I was eating and how it affected me. And I started looking at my family and like seeing some of the things we would like traditionally eat at our get-togethers, and I'm like, This is why diabetes and high blood pressure is so prevalent in my family. This is why it's so prevalent in the black communities, because we eat in all of these things that we're not supposed to be eating as often. Moderation is always a thing, but we overdo it because that's all we know. That's all we know, especially with me being born and raised in the South. That's all I know. So, Dr. Savy gave me a new perspective. He gave me a new idea of how to eat. And essentially, he was promoting a plant based lifestyle. And my first time hearing it, I was deeply inspired, but not inspired enough to give up meat. I was still eating meat. I still was. I was busting it down, y'all. I was busting it down. But it planted a seed in me. And every meal that I would have, I would feel less and less and less inclined to eat meat, to the point where Thanksgiving 2014, I never forget it. My pops could fry a turkey, y'all. When I tell you my daddy could fry a turkey, my daddy could cook some turkey and he cooked some fish. My daddy be throwing down. He a grill master too. But that turkey, he every my pops could cook a turkey. So this particular Thanksgiving, he fried the turkey. I'm all excited about it. I got the turkey leg. I'm about to dig into it. And I brought it about this close to my face. And I felt an overwhelming feeling of sadness. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? Man, I'm tripping. Man, I'm tripping. I bit into it. And that feeling just took me. It just took me. I just felt this overwhelming feeling of sadness and fear and hurt, and I was just so confused. Like, why? What is this? What is going? Why am I feeling like this? I tried to continue my meal, but I couldn't finish it because I felt so bad. At the time, I did not know what that was. Now I know that during this time of my spiritual awakening, my empathic abilities were unlocked, and I was feeling the energy coming from the turkey. And energy is transferable, y'all. They say energy is neither created or destroyed. It's always transferable. It's always constant and moving. So energy comes from the sun to the plants, and the animals eat it, and we eat it, and we intake that energy. But don't you think that emotions could also be transferred? Emotions is nothing but energy and motion. Emotions. So we intake that too. And these animals, they got feelings. You know what I'm saying? They are sentient beings. They love. They can express love. They can express a personality. For those who have pets, who have cats and dogs and other pets, like, you know firsthand that your pet become like your family member, because you are able to connect and bond with them because they're a sentient being. They're another sentient being. And they have feelings. They have thoughts. You know, they're just not objects, you know? So it's like, for us to eat that, we're intaking that. And I'm not saying that to discourage anybody from that lifestyle, because being vegan ain't for everybody. And I'm a prime example of how you could be an unhealthy vegan. I'm gonna get into that later, but I'm saying that to emphasize how energy works and how it affected me that day. But I didn't know it at the time. I just know that I felt really weird. So I couldn't finish my meal that Thanksgiving. And I still tried to continue to eat, and I would feel the same way every single time. I remember one of the last meals I had, I went to 520 Wings. It's a popular wing spot in my hometown of Savannah, Georgia. I went to 520 Wings, got me a 12 piece. Had me a 12 piece. I was sitting down eating my wings, and I just felt so weird, the same feeling. And I'm like, bro, I don't think I can eat meat anymore. And that was one of the last times I ate meat. I ate meat one more time. I had stopped eating meat for 2 weeks after that. I was just doing like fish and vegetables. But then one of my coworkers, sweet lady, Miss Juanita, I love you, Miss Juanita. I was telling everybody I was vegan and I'm not eating meat no more. And she brought me some lunch and she was like, "Oh, it's vegan." You know, she ain't know what vegan was at the time, but it was a meatloaf, and I ate it out of courtesy. But I felt so weird after eating that meatloaf because I hadn't ate meat in 2 weeks. So that was it for me. That was the last piece of meat I ever ate. And it was like, bro, I can't do this no more, for real, for real. Like, this is it. I'm just going. I'm not eating no meat. I stopped eating fish. I was just fruits, vegetables, nuts, and berries. That was it. But the beautiful thing is, though, when I went on and I really stopped eating meat completely, and I just was eating that, like around the 2 week mark again after the last time, I felt amazing. I had so much more energy. I felt like I could take on the world. Like, my emotions were intact. I could think clear. It was like I was missing something that I didn't know I was missing, and I regained that when I stopped eating meat.